All right, so today we are moving on to 5.2. 5.2 is called direct variation. Direct variation is a line equation that is in the form y equals kx, where k is our constant of variation. So if it's in this form where there's nothing added to the end, this is a direct variation. Now you can, a couple special things about a direct variation. You can find k by taking and dividing, or getting k by itself and dividing by x. So k equals y divided by x. Another very special thing about a direct variation is that a direct variation always crosses through the origin. The origin, or the point 0, 0. So all direct variations go through the origin. So the first section today, we've got to determine from an equation whether or not it's a direct variation. That's where we're going to start. Here we go. So to determine if an equation, squeeze that in there, is a direct variation, these are the steps I want you to think about. Step number 1, I need you to isolate y, which just means we want to get y by itself, right? Step 2, I want you to compare your equation to y equals kx. If it's in the exact same form, then it's a direct variation, and you get to say yes, and then state k value. All right, so if after I get y by itself, let's say I have the equation y equals 2 over 3x. Is this in the form y equals kx? It is. So we would say yes, and k equals 2/3. Whereas if I had something, once I got y by itself, y equals 4 over 5x plus 1, is this in the form y equals kx? So you would just say no. All right, so the real trick here is being able to isolate y so that you can compare them. So here is example number 1. Example 1. It's going to cover 9 through 14 since we are doing all today. And it says determine if the equation is a direct variation. If so, state the constant of variation. And the constant of variation is just k. All right? So let's start off with kind of an easy one. Let's say I have 2y equals 5x. Is y all by itself yet? What do we have to do to get y by itself? Okay, so we divide both sides by 2. We get y equals 5 over 2x. Is this in the form y equals kx? Yes. So we say yes, and what is k equal? 5 over 2. Perfect. All right. Try another one. I'm going to keep it underneath the same example, though, so they're all kind of chunked together. All right. I'm going to make it a little bit tougher. Let's say I have 2y plus 2 equals 4x. Trying to get y by itself. What is the first thing I have to do? No. Minus 2. Very good. We've got to get rid of this number first. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So I have 2y equals, can I combine 4x and negative 2 together? So I have 4x minus 2. Is y by itself? So I have to divide everything by 2. Remember we did that, right? So we have y equals 2x minus 1. Is this in the form y equals kx? So we say no. All right, whoops. Didn't mean to put that there, sorry. I know it. One more real quick. How about if I have negative 5 plus 3x plus 5 equals 4y. All right. To isolate y, what do you think I have to do on the left-hand side first? Thank you. Combine like terms. I agree. Good. 3x equals 4y. When we put negative 5 and 5 together, they cancel each other out, right? Now, I'm trying to get y by itself. What do you guys want to do next? I heard some people say divide by 3, and I heard some people say divide by 4. Correct. We want to get y by itself, so we're going to divide by 4. So we get y equals 3 over 4x. So before I answer the question whether or not it's a direct variation, one of the things you can do here is flip them, right? You guys like to do that before, where we have 4y equals 3x. So your y is already on the left, right? So keep that in mind. That's an option. Excuse me. So is this in the form y equals kx? Yeah. So we say yes. And what does k equal? 3, 4. Good. Is there any question on these first 6 in your homework? No? Seem pretty easy? Awesome. Let's talk about the next part. Next, we're going to write a direct variation. And here are the 3 steps I need, and there's reasons I need them. All right? Step number 1, I'm going to ask that you find k. And I want to remind you, to find k, k equals y divided by x. All right? So this is going to help you find k. Step number 2, I need you to write as y equals kx. So whatever number you get here, you're going to plug in right there. Step number 3, you're going to plug in x value to find the y, or the y value. 3 pretty easy steps. So what it's going to look like is you're going to be given something like y equals 10 when x equals negative 2. Find y when x equals 12. So the very first thing you have to do is find k. That's going to use this first line we have going on here, right? To find k, we take y, which is 10, and divide by x, which is negative 2. So k equals what? Negative 5. That's step 1. Step 2 says we're going to write it as y equals kx. step 3, we plug in 12 for our x and find y. So y equals negative 5 times 12, or y equals negative 60. Good. All right. So these 3 steps are super important. Sometimes they're just going to ask you for the direct variation equation. Sometimes they might ask you to plug things in. Today we're plugging things in, but you've got to get this first. So I expect to see on your homework, first of all, what your k value is. I should see the equation. And I should see you plugging it in and getting a y value, right? Yep. Okay. So here is example number 2. Example number 2 is going to cover 15 through 20. And here's how it starts. It says, suppose y varies directly with x, and y equals 12 when x equals negative 3. Find y when x equals 12. All right, so this first line where it says suppose y varies directly with x, that's just telling you how you're setting it up. That tells you that you've got to have that k and all that's going on. So we're going to start with this first line. That first line helps us find k. K equals y divided by x, or k equals what? Thank you, negative 4. All right. Then step 2, we write it as y equals negative 4x. If it just wanted the direct variation equation, you'd get to stop right there. But now it says find y when x is 12. So we have y equals negative 4 times 12, or y equals negative 48. All right, you guys, talk to me. Questions? No questions. Okay. Do another one. Example number 3. Still from the same section. And instead of writing out suppose y varies directly with x, you guys already know that, right? That's the first part of it. Okay, let's say we have y equals 3 when x equals 7. Find y when x equals negative 2. All right, so what's the very first thing we have to do? Find k. So k equals y divided by x. Oh, 3 over 7, exactly. Now we put it in our equation. Y equals k, which is 3 over 7, x. Last thing we do is we plug negative 2 in for x. Y equals 3 over 7 times negative 2. So y equals? Good, negative 6 over 7. I agree. Okay, I want to do one more of these very quickly. Example number 4. Because it does get a little bit tougher, just a little bit tougher, in your homework today. Again, remember this starts off as suppose y varies directly with x. Okay? And let's say y equals 6.5 when x equals let's go 1/4. 1/4. Find y when x equals 12. It is. So what do you think we have to do with that, right? We have to change that to an improper fraction. So this 6.5 actually becomes what? 13 over 2. Good. Now, our first step is we find k. K equals y, which is 13 over 2, over x, which is 1/4. Do you think we can leave it like this? No, you can't have a fraction and a fraction, right? What actually is this? Now, I know you can type it in your calculator, hit math enter, enter, and you're going to be good. But let's actually talk about what this is. It's a division problem, right? Okay, so technically, we have 13 over 2 divided by 1/4, which means we skip, flip, multiply. We're going to times it by 4 over 1. What do we actually get for our K value? Get 26. Okay? Now, if you type this into your calculator, make sure you put parentheses around the top, parentheses around the bottom. It also works that way, but I want you to realize that's what's happening. So now the next thing we do is we write our direct variation equation. Y equals 26x. And now we plug in 12. So y equals 26 times 12. Y equals 312. Thank you. So any questions on that section? 3 easy steps. Okay, we have one more section to go in the homework today. That's it. So we're good. I mean, good all the way through so far? It'll be all right. Last section, graphing. A direct variation. So before I talk about the steps of graphing a direct variation, right, it's always going to be in this form y equals kx, right? And we know that k is y divided by x. The y part on the top tells you how much you go up or down. So if it's a negative y value, you're going to go down, right? If it's positive, you go up. The x on the bottom, yep, goes side to side, right or left, okay? So now, here are our steps for graphing a direct variation. Step 1, remember one of the special things I told you at the very beginning was that it always crosses through the origin. So the first thing you're going to do is start at the origin. Step 2, move the y value, then x value, and plot, or put a dot. Step 3, connect the dots. Easy as that, exactly. So, if I have, let's say I have y equals 2/3 x. I'm going to draw a graph. I start at the origin, so I'm going to put a dot right here. This says I'm going to go, this is my y value, so that means I go up 2. So I'm going to go up 2. And the bottom tells me I'm going to go to the right 3. So I go 1, 2, 3, and put a dot. Step 3, connect my dots. Just that easy. Okay? So, it is. It is continuous. That is a great question. All right. We're on example number 6, right? 5? Example number 5. Example number 5. And this is the last problems you have to do, 21 through 24. Graph the direct variation. All right. Let's start with y equals -3 over 2x. So we're going to draw our graph. First place we put our first dot is where? Nope. 0, 0, right in the middle. Now we're going to go down 3, right? This means down. Down 3 and to the right 2 and put a dot. Connect your dots. Oops, better than me. All right, let's do another one in that same part. How about if I have y equals 4x? What is the magical number underneath 4? Good. It is a 1. Very good. So when we graph this one, oops, come on. Again, we put our first point at the origin, and we're going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then what? Right 1. Connect your dots. All right, one more, and I'll be done. See if I can trick you guys. How about let's graph y equals negative x. It's a negative 1. It's a negative 1 in front over what? Good. All right, so again, I'm going to start at the origin. I'm going to go which direction first? Down 1 and then right 1. Good job, you guys. Right. Of course, it goes on forever. All right, so today your assignment is on page 304. It's 9 through 24 all. And I know we don't normally do all, but these are pretty easy and it's important, okay? And it really still is not that many problems. It's only 15. We can totally handle it. What is young Sheldon's favorite food?
It's spaghetti with hot dogs cut up in it. With little hot dogs.
Okay.
No, they have to be all cut up at the same, like, they have to be all the same